Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really do appreciate y'all being part of the show today. We are going to have a fun conversation around what happened 14 years ago, approximately today. Some people say it was the 28th, some people say it was the 31st, but right around here, where the Bitcoin white paper was launched, was dropped, where Satoshi Nakamoto actually started conversations around creating this phenomenon, this amazing technological advancement in the monetary system and in pretty much other our system around the world. It can utilize blockchain technology and launch it into the world. I have my theories as to who it may be. I kind of agree with Bix Weir on who that might just be. So anyhow, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the prices over the years as it has happened. We're going to take a look at some other stuff around some interesting developments with Bitcoin and the US dollars. And then maybe we'll touch on some of the interesting things that are going on in the economy on the back end of the show today. But first things first, guys and gals, thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for being subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, consider giving me a subscribe and then grab the bell. That way you make sure you whenever I go live, which is a couple times a week right now. We have a great conversation and a good time. There is a live chat running. If you are a part of the show today, do me a favor and if nothing else, say hi. I love it when you guys have a conversation. I love that you guys just have a great time with each other, and at the same time, you're definitely joining in part of the show. Something else I wanted to point out real quick. I do have a Patreon that is linked in the description of the video, and what I do with that is I take the gloves off, have a conversation around some of the different subjects we discuss here, but I dig into the stuff that we talk about. And on that Patreon, it's where I also will talk about subjects that will typically get this channel banned. So if you want to help support the channel, if you love what we have here, if nothing else, consider joining Patreon. It does help out for sure. Also, I had somebody ask last week. I do offer consulting things. Listen to me. So professional. I do have a consulting company where I offer one-on-one consultations, business consultations. If you have a business, you have an idea, you want to see if blockchain technology makes sense, I can tell you whether it'll be viable or not. If it's something that you need assistance with, I can come alongside you and help bring your idea to fruition. Things like that. Those are more contractual type stuff, but do the one-on-one things. I've helped people restore crypto that they couldn't get access to. I've helped people just understand how to get into becoming more of your own bank, that kind of stuff. So anyhow, if you need anything crypto or blockchain related, there is that. It is in the description of the video. Check out all the links there. I do appreciate everything you guys and gals do. So enough of all that fun stuff. Let's jump in and check out the crypto prices today, shall we? Let's jump over here, and there we go. All right. Bitcoin is down, obviously, today, as I'm sure everybody can see that. And we have a fun time with when it goes up and down. Now, also what's interesting here is that the Dow is also down on the day, which is interesting to me because they're supposedly supposed to make things really run here. If y'all haven't noticed, this is on the hour chart. Let's go up here to the day chart for the NASDAQ. Hey, look. They're trying to run it back up. They're trying to trap as many people as they can, in my opinion, into the market right before it falls out. So I was talking to Economic Ninja last on Friday. Y'all, a lot of you tuned in for that. I really appreciate it. Y'all being part of it. It was a really good show. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It was really, really good. Anyhow, he was just pointing out simple stuff like we're in the 1929 phase, right? You had the roaring 20s, and then all of a sudden you hit the 30s or 1929, and there was just a day that just collapsed. And I actually wonder if as soon as the election's over next week, maybe it'll be a week, maybe two, you're going to see stupid stuff just completely fall out of the sky when it comes to the stock market. And I really kind of wonder if Bitcoin and all crypto assets will do the same thing. But if you look at the day chart or maybe the week chart, you'll see a wick. It'll be one candle, one bar. That's just my opinion. I don't know what's really going to happen. It'll just really drop down, and all the orders that are sitting there to buy it, those crazy low prices that people seem to think things are going to happen, they've got buy orders in there. We'll see if they get filled. They'll be filled immediately. They'll be filled very quickly, and it'll be right back where it's at now, or approximately, right? That's just my opinion, because you'll have all the hedge funds and all the day traders and the crazy people getting out there doing the stuff with the trying to manipulate the market. They'll dump everything when that happens, and like I keep saying, I think crypto is the exit strategy. I think that people will stop playing with the dollar. There is one opinion I'm going to kind of touch on this afternoon, which would make things interesting. And I hadn't thought about that being something that happens, but we'll discuss that towards the end of the show here. Gold and silver look like they're being pushed down as well. Divvy again being pushed down. It looks like they were having a nice little gentle run on the past week or so. And we'll see what happens over the next few weeks with them. There's some crazy cool stuff coming down the pipe. Ethereum, EOS, definitely. EOS is an interesting one. If you look at them on the day, look at them on the hour, though. It's like really, really tight. Really tight. Anyhow, I don't know. It's crazy cool stuff. I don't know. Like some people do with their charting is interesting. Now, Axie, it's really getting tight. Really looks like it's consolidating on the day, or attempting to consolidate. Who knows? At the end of the day, we'll find out. Shiba. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, this went nuts. Yeah. I don't know why. You never know. Anyways. And you've got XRP, the XRP army out there doing some crazy interesting stuff. XRP hit $2 or almost $2 back in, when was it? 2021. I wonder why. Anyhow, so guess what else is up? The mortgage rates. Yeah, over 7%. Last time we were at that price point or that high of interest rates was in 2002 or thereabouts. So right after the dot-com bubble burst. Guys and gals, and it just trended down from there, This is a parabolic move in interest rates. We're starting to see some very interesting things take place in the housing market. Not so great things. You got the Dixie, which is up, and then the Dixie Pound, which is doing it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. Bitcoin is a force to be reckoned with. And it's forced to be reckoned with because 14 years ago from today, Bitcoin white paper was effectively launched, where Satoshi Nakamoto had a conversation with multiple people, the cypherpunks, to get Bitcoin launched. The white paper was set up. It's actually listed here in the article here. It says, I have been working on an electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. Cool stuff. Bitcoin peer-to-peer e-cash paper. Satoshi Nakamoto at vistomail.com. Crazy stuff, huh, guys and gals? Yep. 14 years ago, Bitcoin is now a force to be reckoned with, and all banking systems around the world are freaked out about it. There's a lot of people who wonder who Satoshi Nakamoto is. I actually kind of wonder if it was Alan Greenspan. If you look at his background, okay, he went to the schools for the people who built technological stuff. He has a coding background. A lot of people don't realize that. He's a gold bug. He didn't want to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve, but I think it was Reagan who appointed him. I don't remember who appointed him. Maybe it was Bush. Someone did. I don't remember who it was. He did not want to do it, but he did it for some reason or another. And then I actually wonder if it was part of an orchestration to get rid of the financial system as we know it, to launch a peer-to-peer, by the people, for the people type of a financial system that launched a lot of different other spin-offs that have now fundamentally changed how businesses are actually going to stand. They're going to have business operations and procedures that are going to be changed just because of blockchain technology. You're going to have to fundamentally change how this all happens. But anyhow, happy white paper day. Bitcoin it's been 14 years since Satoshi Nakamoto sent an email to the Cyberpunk email list with the subject line Bitcoin peer-to-peer eCash paper. The email included a link to the white paper, an outline of what would soon become a $1 trillion market. Yep, well, that 1 trillion is probably going to end up being 50 to 100 trillion at some point, I would imagine. And the reason I say that is because the dollar is going to effectively be worthless and people are going to run into the crypto market and it will no longer be part of denominated in dollars unless this one thing happens, and that's what we're going to talk about towards the end of the show. So stick around. Really appreciate y'all who are here for today. Anyhow, in the first sentence of the email, it has become iconic among Bitcoin community. I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. In other words, it is a trustless system. You don't have to trust who you're doing your transactions with, because there's an incentive for the miners to actually process the transactions at the same time you're processing or you're sending or doing your transaction with whoever. Interesting stuff. Over the past 14 years, Bitcoin has morphed into a hobbyist pastime, or from a hobbyist pastime into a global recognized brand. Bitcoin has been adopted as legal tender in regions of the globe, such as El Salvador, as those of us who are very familiar with that one, and the Central African Republic. It's been used by freedom fighters and campaigners while being a tool for financial emancipation and economic empowerment worldwide. It's the actual white paper there. The speculative fever of Bitcoin, known for its still lingers, while Bitcoin's reputation as being a tool of illicit activities clings on, despite the fact that the United States dollar remains far more effective tool for hiding financial activity. The thing is Bitcoin is not private; it is public. You can see the transactions publicly as long as you have the address. This is why I don't understand why mortgage lenders and whatnot, they actually could use cryptocurrency holdings as, if you provide the address that is yours to them, they can go look and see everything that's happened inside of that wallet. If you've been holding it for however long it's been there, the dates, etc., that's been happening, blah 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 blah. It's pretty open information if you have the wallet address. There are cryptocurrencies out there that are much more, we'll call it nefarious or privacy minded. No, it's nefarious. I mean, I would prefer to have privacy in general on what I'm doing with my money. But that's a different discussion for a different show altogether. Anyhow, in 2021, Bitcoin has evolved into so much more. Cointelegraph spoke to Bitcoin OGs, enthusiasts, and newbies during the Plan B conference in Lugano, Switzerland, to investigate what the white paper means to the world. Interesting stuff, huh? On Bitcoin's 14th anniversary, at the time of increasingly global financial inequality, the phrase Bitcoin is for everyone really resonates. It really does. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are in the world. It works for everyone in any way. Anyhow, crazy interesting stuff that they're discussing here. We all know, y'all who are part of my Patreon know how I feel about this. That's not a good thing. I'll just drop that there. If you want to know why, join the Patreon, watch past videos, check it out. Anyhow, those are some of the subjects we talk about on Patreon. I can't talk about on here. If you disagree, I don't care. I've done some research and looked into some stuff that it's very, very compelling. Anyhow, let's continue. Decentralization and empowerment for Bitcoin. Gandalf, a marketer for Brains, I guess is what that is, a Bitcoin mining tools company. The white paper and the subsequent synonymous network guarantee a basic level of privacy. It really does, a basic level, but if you really need to know what's going on, it digs deep. Anyhow, Gandalf, who chose to obfuscate his name and face the internet, told Cointelegraph. With the increased surveillance propagated by the state, huge centralized tech companies that control the majority of information distribution, it's more important than ever that we have decentralized alternatives that guarantee us basic freedoms like the ability to buy and sell and commence commerce with the world. That it gets under attack when the state decides that you can't spend the money with the CBDCs that are coming. Watch them; they will turn off the faucet. I've told you before. You own a pew pew, you have something you want to go buy some more of those pew pews, or the metal that comes out of those. You're going to end up having to. They're going to sit there and go, "Nope, you have enough. You have enough. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to spend that there. Sorry." They'll just turn off the faucet. They'll just turn it off. Crazy stuff, isn't it? Huh? Now, 14 years later, 14 years, Bitcoin will be adopted like no one else has ever seen. So, on this date, if you don't follow Charts BTC, you should follow them on Twitter. It's really, really good stuff that he puts out. So, in October 2011, this is about when I got in there and started mining and playing with stuff. What was that? $2-3, somewhere in the ballpark. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, that's about when I got in there. So every one of the ones that I was able to, wow, I've never did that math. 626,838% profit, unrealized gains, if you will. Crazy, huh? And then on through the years, right? So October 31st, 2021, 1 year ago, you had a yearly change of positive 344% from the year before. However, it has dropped 67% from that on the same day from today. So interesting things that are going down the pipe. Yeah, Bitcoin charts. Check them out. They're definitely worth paying attention to. There's a lot of really just data-driven information. Check it out. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, you really should. It's at PapaJo42 right here. Also, if you go to the papajoshow.com, you'll find it's also, I think, listed in the description of the video. You'll find all my social media stuff there, just making sure that everyone has their appropriate information there. So, can you believe it? Bitcoin looks stable, even green, even as big tech stocks fall apart. Yep. Bitcoin has kind of stabilized, whereas the rest of the technology stocks, if you will, kind of fall apart. It fell apart over the last weekend, or last week, right before we went into the weekend. And even still, the major indices are down today, dragging Bitcoin with it because what have I told y'all? The day traders trades Bitcoin too. They really do. Anyhow, while a repeat of the super rally seen in the second half of 2021 might not be likely, that era did come to mind last week as Bitcoin showed strength. Bitcoin is a hedge. I've talked to you all about this. It's starting to be looked at as a hedge for major investment firms. Look at BlackRock, what they're doing. They're connecting the plumbing with Coinbase. You look at there's a couple different other hedge funds that have already seriously started adding Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that into their portfolios or for access to their portfolios for their customers that hold IRAs and 401ks, things like that. Anyhow, sometime in the Eastern time zone, even evening on July 25th, 2021, was the start of a magical run for Bitcoin, punctuated by a late night 5% jump noted by the yellow arrow on the chart below. Let's see if I can I can't really freaking increase that. You can see that. All right. Bitcoin was in the mid $30,000 range at the time, but by November, it had reached an all-time high of around $68,000. And it's dropped obviously since then. That era basically ancient history at this point zoomed back into my head last week. Bitcoin started at 1 p.m. Eastern time in October 25th at 19,880. Got as high as 20,176 during the hour. It was, at $20,126 at 2 p.m. Eastern, or the low in that hour was 19.8. An only go up hour. Yep, it was very interesting. I watched that happen. Granted, this move wasn't big, as is July 21st one, or 2021. Excuse me. This move wasn't as big as the July 2021 move was, but it raised eyebrows nonetheless. Yeah, it did. Remember inflation? Let's first start with Bitcoin's good week. Bitcoin's price could be up for another number of reasons, but here are two key things that happened on Wednesday. The Bank of Canada surprised financial markets by raising interest rates by only 50 basis points instead of 75 basis points. And the U.S. Census Bureau also reported a 10.9% decline in new home sales in September around the same time. Guys and gals, it's getting crazy. Crazy. Bitcoin will become the exit strategy. It is. I'm telling y'all, it is. Anyhow, both feed in the same idea. Central banks must slow rate increases because the economy is cooling enough to tame inflation. It's not yet, guys and gals. It's not yet. Policymakers in Canada raised by less than expected. Meanwhile, U.S. inflation has been fueled in part by a hot housing market. Maybe that drop in home sales will start moving the U.S. Federal Reserve towards slowing its own rate increases. I highly doubt it because it's not enough. We'll find out what the Fed has in mind during next week's Federal Open. The FOMC stuff is, I think, happening this week. Yeah. So we had big drops in Amazon. We had big drops in Alphabet and Meta. If y'all paid attention this week, it got really, really bad. Let's see, what was it? Google dropped 6.2%, Amazon dropped 13.3%, Apple gained 4.5%, Meta crashed 23.5%, and Microsoft lost 4.8%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin gained 6.8%. Y'all see what's happening? They're dropping out of that, and they're putting at least a small amount into Bitcoin. When they realize the dollar's total crap, they're going to put it all in Bitcoin. Just wait. Now, here is a scenario I've thought about, but I haven't spent enough time to kind of devote realistically thinking about it. Now, the only scenario I think that the dollar doesn't die entirely is that if the dollar becomes backed by Bitcoin. The US dollar will weaponize the US will weaponize wow, Papa Joe, I don't have my coffee. The US will weaponize the dollar by backing it with Bitcoin. The United States government is likely to back the dollar with Bitcoin in order to protect its status as an issuer of global reserve currency. Yep, that is something I hadn't thought about in depth. Eventually, I thought it would happen, but I never thought that it would realistically be a way to weaponize the dollar against the rest of the world currencies. Back the dollar by Bitcoin. Then what is the Bitcoin denominated in? In other words, how many Bitcoins would it be behind a dollar? That kind of stuff is an interesting thing. Is it 1-to-1? That doesn't work because Bitcoin is what, $20,000 right now? You'd have to figure out a new way of account. Anyhow, the Bitcoin milkshake theory. Most people believe the monetization of Bitcoin will most hurt the United States, as it is the country with the current global reserve currency. This person disagrees. The monetization of Bitcoin benefits one nation disproportionately more than any other country. Like it, welcome it, or ban it, the U.S. is the country that will benefit the most from the monetization of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will help to extend the life of the U.S. dollar longer than many can conceptualize, and this article explains why. So basically, they're saying if they will back the dollar with Bitcoin, that it will exponentially create value for the dollar because Bitcoin is the value. This is why I think it's going to go the other way, whereas Bitcoin will be the exit strategy where everyone will dump out of the dollar. However, if the dollar becomes backed by Bitcoin and other fiat currencies become backed by Bitcoin, Bitcoin and whatever else they put in that basket will become exponentially more valuable. Just putting it into perspective, folks. It goes both ways. It's kind of what I'm getting at. It's going to be interesting. We are going to have an interesting time coming up towards the end of the year here. You know, I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about on the Patreon today. But I have a feeling I may touch on some things as to what the real reason of today is and tomorrow. It's either today or tomorrow. I can't remember. And why today, in my opinion, isn't that great. No, we do not celebrate Halloween. We will not celebrate Halloween. There's a lot of things that are part of the demonic realm that has a lot to do with that day and the things that happen with it. Yeah. Anyhow, there's another reason why. What tomorrow is for everybody when you realize what tomorrow is. Anyhow, we'll probably talk about that on the Patreon this afternoon. If I have some time to dig up the information on it, I'll probably talk about some things around what happens on All Hallows Eve and why All Hallows Eve is the eve of a very interesting and important day. Anyhow, we'll talk about that later, though. Join the Patreon to find it out. It's only $5 a month. It's not a lot. It buys me a cup of coffee. You guys or gals are fantastic, amazing to do that. It really means a lot to me for those of you who have subscribed. So, last first of the month. Bitcoin Bull, welcome to the show, brother, and thanks for being part of it. It is fantastic. What's going on, Lithia? How are you today? Appreciate you being here. Mr. Stevens, Larry, how you doing today? Appreciate you being here. It is a fantastic day for sure. Looking through here. Bitcoin Bull, that's kind of what I'm going to talk about probably tomorrow. Or tonight, later in the Patreon show. The 95 Theses for what Martin Luther did. I think it was on the 1st of November. Anyhow, I don't remember. I'm going to look it up. Marky, what's going on? How are you today? It is a beautiful, beautiful day. And Carrie, how are you? Great economic show. Yes, thank you. I loved having him on. It was fantastic. You two are awesome, and I love it that y'all are here. Thanks for being part of the show. Let's see who else is in here today. We've got Kim in the house. What's going on? How are you today? Thanks for being part of the show. Tom, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here, man. Hopefully you are doing well. Alan Nakamoto, yeah. I don't know if Alan Greenspan is or is not part of the show or part of the thing or what is behind it, but I don't think anyone will ever know. I really don't think anyone will ever know. But anyways. Who else is in the house here today? You'll have a conversation. Love it. Fantastics. Who else is in here? Just looking at the conversation. Thanks. You guys are great for being here. It really means a lot. What's going on, John? John, how you doing today? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here, man. Crypto Sherpa is in the house. What's up, brother? By the way, he has a fantastic show on YouTube. Go check out his show. It is a lot of fun to watch him dig into the stuff he digs into. Definitely spend some time checking out the Crypto Sherpa. He's a really, really cool guy. Let's see here. Papa Joe forgot to tell you the news. My brother's finally in crypto after years of resistance with the help of you. Fantastic. Justin at Viva Cap. Very, very great, very great. Viva Capital is a fantastic organization. Absolutely love what they're doing. Carlos, didn't mean to click that. No, yeah, they're great days. Great people. Fantastic stuff. All right, guys and gals. I'm going to go ahead and duck out. I have a meeting here in just a second. Actually, starting right now. I'm going to run to. So if you're part of the Patreon, I'll see you this afternoon, 4:30 Eastern. Otherwise, you'll have a beautiful and blessed rest of the day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.